JustinFREAKIN, the formidable voice in the culture.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
Come on, man.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Sunday. RB, Avalon, Julie, good evening. Welcome in. I'm not high enough for this shit. Let's get high. I'm kidding. I'm pretty fucking blistered right now. We can always get more high. Hi, Socks. What are you doing, Bubby? Soup, Holiday, welcome in. I guess I need to pack another one. This doesn't seem to have much in it. If Smokey was laying on my desk and stuck his tail in my weed tray, if Smokey didn't knock all my weed on the floor. Bread Boy! You know, I kind of like that. I kind of like that name. Soup, I might have to go with Bread Boy from now on. Avalon might have turned me on to some new shit. Bread Boy. Oh my god, I just got that. Well, I'm blushing over here now. Flo, good evening. I got to see Sparkles for the first time in like 3 years last night. It was awesome. I had dinner with Sparkles and her boyfriend, T-Bone. I asked him what kind of hobbies he had. He was like basket weaving. And apparently that was true. But it was for a very funny reason. Something about went to some, wasn't like a Renaissance fair, but it was something like that. And they had a basket. He apparently tried to haggle and couldn't get the basket, so he took up basket weaving out of spite. And I'm like, okay, I understand the attraction to Sparkles now. And so we're at the restaurant. I took him to one of my favorite barbecue places. And there's like a pick 3 meats and get 3 sides kind of deal. I usually, like, Curious and I will go, we usually split that. And like, I'm like, oh, we could totally split that among us, and like get a, an appetizer, cause like, and we didn't end up getting an appetizer. We got like, burnt end nachos, I think was what it was. Fantastic. But I was like, also, I know Sparkles, so she might want the pick 3 to herself. Where you guys to split it and I'll get my own entree. And that's what they ended up doing. And then Sparkles, he's like, which meats do you want? She's like, all of them. Like, I can't pick. Take the menu away from me. It's just like old times. Just like old times. Anyway, welcome. We got a lot of news to talk about. I apparently did not reset my drops last night. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, everybody, making an appearance early on in the show. Great catatonic type buzz. So, like, as some of you may have seen, I come on and play video games from time to time. It was something that just scratched my itch to stream while my computer is down a couple weeks ago. And now, like, I've started hopping on playing some video games every now and again, but I can't use my camera or anything if I'm broadcasting from the PlayStation. And I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, I fell asleep last night on the stream. I don't know. Like, I wonder if I was snoring on my microphone. Just light one up, tip one back. Here is your meme of the day. Well, I had the inset picture for last night. We had the riots. Listen to me and my right-wing framing. War Machine. You were just asleep on stream. Apparently, Redolent Thought does that from time to time. And he's got alarms set so you can wake him up. I don't know. I've not seen this happen. This is what Curiouser has told me. Because she used to be up all night, right? Because she was a night nurse. You thought it was a bit? No, apparently, like, you'll really, Like, he pushes himself and falls asleep on the stream. I feel like I hear something dripping. It could be from the porch or something. Was that you licking yourself socks? I just had a cat go by. Hugh Janus. Oh. I turned the music. Thank you for telling me that, Bread Boy. I turned the playlist off last night while we were listening to the Army Band be very, very bad. And usually they're good. I even gave them their props. I was very surprised at how bad they were. Apparently, like, most streamers do long streams. I'm one of the few streamers that do like a show style format. And Twitch kind of punishes you for that as well. Do you think, because like, really surprising to me, because we watch a lot of political shit on this stream, and the Army Band is usually fucking the highlight of some of the shit that we watch. So it was very, very odd, because it was like the drums were off the, like, I can't say the drums were off the beat, because I guess if the drums are the beat. So like, what the horn section was off beat of the drums. It was insane. I mean, as I said, I've seen them be very, very good. It was surprising at how bad they were last night. And there might be something to that, Soup, because really, like, it sounded like the horns were off the beat of the drums and shit. That would take skill to do that. That's like fucking Captain Beefheart kind of shit. Like they were playing Frownland out there as they were marching down the street. Oh, God. Let's get to it. Let's start off. Did you know that apparently Israel wanted to assassinate the Ayatollah? The supreme leader of Iran, and apparently Trump said no? Surprisingly enough.
Good evening from Tel Aviv. Israel has sent dozens of surface-to-surface missiles at targets in Iran's west as the two arch-enemies traded heavy blows for a third day. The assault came as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Iran would pay a heavy price for civilian deaths and even speculated that the Iranian regime may fall. Well, Iran says more than 100 people have been killed since the start of the fighting. Israel's attacks are focused on oil depots and facilities that are linked to Iran.
Now, apparently there was supposed to be a vote on Benjamin Netanyahu like the day after or the day before or something like that. Like, this seems yet to be another episode of Wagging the Dog.
Satellite pictures show a huge fire burning at the Shahran oil refinery. In Israel, at least 10 people have been killed and many more have been injured. A missile has hit Haifa tonight, and a number of other cities also came under attack. Well, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has sent RAF fighter jets to Cyprus today, and earlier the Foreign Office advised against all travel to Israel. With the latest on the fighting, here's our Middle East correspondent, Lucy Williamson.
This is a war Israel's leaders have long prepared for. Its citizens are catching up fast. Again tonight, rescue teams...
Hold on. Let me... Not a war that they have long prepared for. A war that they have long attempted to... what would be the word? To start, to provoke, to... There's probably a better word for that. I'm not doing a bit here right now. I'm just stoned and can't think of it. Clinically, good evening.
Teams were out after direct hits from Iranian missiles in Haifa and Kiryat Gam. The price of
insight would be a great word. Thank you, Avalon. Insight.
Like Batyan,
DJ Dub, welcome in.
a direct hit to this apartment block. The blast so destructive that 20 buildings around it are due to be pulled down. Rescue teams digging for residents trapped in the rubble pulled a 7th victim from the debris tonight. They're still digging for people missing from this apartment block. Injured residents climbing over the rubble, lining the streets outside. This is a different kind of attack to the ones Israel is used to. Its prime minister wanted to attack Iran while it was weak, but it's still strong enough to inflict real damage.
Flash, welcome in.
Like just a huge boom, and after that a lot of dust in the air. Like I was able to see next to me only half.
What's the name of their Pentagon? The Kairu or something? No, that's the character from Yakuza. It was something like that. Like apparently they put, allegedly, because this is classified, they put it right next to a hospital in Tel Aviv, and which. And it was one of the targets that Iran struck. The fortress of Zion, military command beneath Tel Aviv. There you go.
Meter next.
There was smoke everywhere, Katia said. I couldn't breathe. The door just flew off its hinges. My mother is 76. She was injured in the head and had stitches in both arms. I'm trying not to cry. 3 days into this war, many Israelis think it's still worth the price. In an interview on American television, Israel's prime minister was asked if regime change was part of the plan.
Could certainly be the result because the Iran regime is very weak. I think it's basically left with two things. It's plans to have atomic bombs and ballistic missiles. That's basically what Iran has. They certainly don't have the people. 80% of the people will throw these theological thugs out.
In Iran today, fresh panic as Israel carried out more strikes in Tehran. Among the targets hit, the Justice Ministry. Iranian media say more than 100 people have already been killed there since Friday. We didn't want this war, Iran's foreign minister said. We were focused on diplomacy over our nuclear program, but this was forced on us and we'll defend ourselves. Last night, Israel said it attacked 80 targets in Iran, including this oil refinery north of Tehran. It says it still has many more targets in mind. US President Donald Trump wants this.
Well, that doesn't sound aggressive at all.
Deal with Iran. Mr. Netanyahu's end goals are less clear. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Tel Aviv.
Well, the Iranian government is activating emergency shelters with mosques, metro stations and schools being prepared to protect civilians. The Iranian government limits access to the country for journalists, but the BBC's Persian service provides news to Iranian audiences in Farsi. Our colleague Siavash Mehdi Adalan from the BBC Persian service has been looking at how people in Iran have been responding to these unprecedented attacks.
Unprepared for the sudden outbreak of violence, this woman tries to avoid the devastating impact of an Israeli attack in Iran's capital. Social media allows Iranians to record their experiences and their trauma. Authorities are asking people not to film the attacks or the aftermath. Many are doing the opposite. From moments of impact while caught in traffic, to cheers for the anti-aircraft personnel.
Mashallah! Mashallah!
Iran's air defense, no match for Israel's Iron Dome, still manages to intercept drones that come without warning.
2 شبه که واقعا نخوابیدم I haven't slept for 2 nights now. I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. All this reminds me of my childhood when we were in war with Iraq. Back then, at least we had sirens and advance warnings, but now, nothing.
Tonight I wish to speak to you, the proud people of Iran.
Oh yeah, we watched this.
Benjamin Netanyahu has called on Iranians to rise up and topple the clerical regime. And there is not a shortage of opposition figures in waiting, including Reza Pahlavi, the exiled crown prince from the 1979 revolution, closely aligned with Israel's administration.
What?
Sees an opportunity.
The root cause of the problem.
You have got to be joking me. Did everyone just catch that? They want to reinstall, like, what is it, the son of the dude they installed the first time that led to the Iranian Revolution.
For Israel's Iron Dome still manages to intercept drones that come without warning.
I haven't slept for 2 nights now. I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. All this reminds me of my childhood when we were in war with Iraq. Back then, at least we had sirens and advance warnings, but now, nothing.
Tonight I wish to speak to you, the proud people of Iran.
You've got to be kidding me.
Benjamin Netanyahu has called on Iranians to rise up and topple the clerical regime. And there is not a shortage of opposition figures in waiting, including Reza Pahlavi, the exiled crown prince from the 1979 revolution, closely aligned with Israel's administration.
Yes, Orby.
Opportunity.
The root cause of the problem has been the regime and its nature.
Son of the former Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi.
People, as well as the free world, is for this regime to no longer be there. I've been arguing this point from the very beginning, that the ultimate solution is regime change. Now we have an opportunity.
Yet many Iranians critical of the regime do not see Israel as an ally.
I'm not a supporter of the Iranian government, not at all. Really, I'm not. But in this situation, I feel a sense of unity among the people.
Yeah, it is going to galvanize the people.
Against Israel.
Whether friend or foe, Israel has woken Iranians up to the harsh reality of war. But the future of the clerical establishment has never been so uncertain.
Well, here's the thing is like...
Things will get more difficult.
The regime was barely hanging on as it was. It was in a very fragile state and probably would have fell within the next 10, 20 years anyway. Iran seemed to be going that direction. This will galvanize the people to once again unite behind whatever nationalistic identity that they have in order to take on the invading force. This is absurd.
For and if.
And I feel sorry for the Iranian people, the super Ayatollah.
BBC News.
Well, this is
you want a super Ayatollah? This is how you get a super Ayatollah.
Lucy Williamson about what is happening tonight. Lucy, what can you tell us? What's the latest?
Well, every night here there have been...
And how are all these reporters not acting the way I am? Like with complete shock and dismay, befuddlement. Like how?
Several sirens, several warnings of missiles. The missiles keep coming and some of them do get through. But Israel has now occupied Iranian airspace for almost 3 days, taking out a lot of its air defenses and targeting a long list of nuclear sites, military sites, ministries, energy facilities. Today it said it had killed the head of the intelligence for the Revolutionary Guards, Mohammad Kazemi. Here in Israel, the head of the armed forces said Israel would increase the intensity of its operation, and that raises several questions, among them whether the US will come and help Israel to target some of Iran's hard-to-reach.
They want us to. Trump said this morning.
The UK and others may help to come and defend Israel from Iran.
Is BBC going to play that clip? If not, I'll have to get it.
Netanyahu has an exit plan for this war.
Lucy, thank you. Well, as we heard earlier, the Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said today that RAF fighter jets will be sent here to the Middle East to protect British interests in the region. But what are they and where are they? Joe Inwood explains.
Now, it may not technically be in the Middle East, but RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus is the UK's most strategically important base in the region, and it's being reinforced. Now, the numbers haven't been made public, but they will include Eurofighter Typhoons and Voyager refuelling aircraft.
Is a critical forward deployable base to the UK. It's about 330 kilometres from Akrotiri through to Tel Aviv, so flight time not long at all. It allows the UK to project power and influence within the region.
But it's not the only UK presence in the Middle East. As well as the RAF base in Akrotiri, there are also 2 army battalions at another base in Cyprus. The UK also has a naval...
Do you want to get drawn into a world war?
...clearance vessels and a Type 23 frigate. Also, the HMS Prince of Wales carrier group has just passed through the region and is still nearby. Also, there are special forces, although their locations are a secret. Now, the Prime
John Andrew, welcome in.
Reinforcements in Akrotiri were for contingency support, but the government's refused to say whether it might, as it did last year, help protect Israel from incoming Iranian attacks. Now, Iran has said that if they do that, UK bases could well be a target. And
I assume you're being facetious.
For the UK, there would be a considerable risk for its facilities that are within range.
The UK craves a world war every couple of decades.
As I mentioned, the UK doesn't
feel irrelevant again.
Missile defence itself.
They're more impotent than they've ever been.
The UK government is for de-escalation. They say that these reinforcements are to protect existing assets that could well be vulnerable in an increasingly unstable region.
Well, tonight, President Trump has called on the two sides to reach an agreement and even suggested that a peace deal may be within sight. It's also emerged tonight that he rejected a recent Israeli plan to try and kill Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That has come from 3 senior US officials who've been speaking to our US partner, CBS. Donald Trump at the moment is on his way to Canada to take part in the meeting of G7 nations that's happening in our North
I can imagine Canada doesn't want him.
Is there. Sarah, what do we know about this assassination plan?
Hey, Sarah.
Well, it is being reported that when this was put to Donald Trump, the idea of trying to kill the Ayatollah, he flatly vetoed it. And senior administration official has described the thinking this way, saying, have the Iranians killed a single American yet? No. Well, until they do, we are not even talking about going after the political leadership. So that's very clear. I mean, America is involved in this conflict to an extent because they're helping to defend Israel. They have been shooting down missiles that have been aimed at Israel. But today, Donald Trump has been at pains to stress that America is definitely not involved in the attacks on Iran. Now, there are people in Iran who frankly do not believe that, and he had one very clear message, though, about trying to involve the United States, saying if we are attacked in any way, shape or form, the full might of the US Armed Forces...
Flash, the story also takes for granted that Israel would be capable of assassinating the Ayatollah. I mean, DJ Dub. I'm sorry, I credited the wrong person. But I'm sure Flash would probably agree with you as well. So there is something fishy there.
Forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. So he is very eager to warn off Iran from trying to involve America in this conflict. And of course, when all the G7 leaders come here in Canada, that's what they're going to want to talk about, de-escalating this conflict, making sure it doesn't spread more widely through the region. And Donald Trump does seem to be remarkably optimistic about the idea of getting a peace deal done. He says it won't be difficult, it would be fairly easy to resolve this conflict, and he even seems confident that talks can go on that were happening between America and Iran about trying to stop Iran ever developing a nuclear weapon. They were called off today when Iran pulled out, but Donald Trump's view is that what's happening now, the conflict, actually might make a deal come quicker, he says.
Sarah, thank you. Well, it is.
They're sending threats, and Iran is batting them down.
People both here and in Iran start to brace themselves. They've seen heavy attacks for the last 3 nights. There's no reason to believe that tonight is going to be any different.
Were you bitching at me? I didn't realize.
International diplomacy doesn't seem to be having any impact.
Well, like, so threats have come from apparently the White House and Israel that Iran should agree to whatever deal that the U.S. is putting on the table, and Iran has bucked that and said they're not even going to talk to Israel at this time. And if they didn't want to go to war, they shouldn't have started a war. So that was a rough translation. This is a live shot at Tel Aviv. It's pretty quiet at the moment. I scanned back a couple hours. Seems to have been pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. I might check in and see if Iran throws some bombs later on. That might be fun to watch. The black boxes from the Air India crash have been recovered.
This morning, the sole survivor of the deadly Air India plane crash is speaking out from his hospital bed.
It's medical, everything.
Vishwash Kumar Ramesh was in seat 11A of the emergency exit row when the Boeing jet took off from Ahmedabad for London's Gatwick Airport.
Yeah, apparently jumped out the
plane failed mid-air.
Emergency exit.
Killing everyone on board except for Ramesh. You can see him here, somehow walking away from the site.
Wow!
He told local media he closed his eyes and thought he was going to die. When he opened them, he realized he could escape.
Emergency door is broken. Yeah. My seat is broken. Yeah. Then I see the page little bit. Yeah. Then I will try to come out. I'm not jumping. Okay. I just walk out.
Ramesh,
I just walk out.
Off, the plane came to what felt like a standstill in midair. Green and white lights came on inside the cabin. He said he could feel the engine thrust attempting to go up, but the plane plunged and crashed instead.
Did the aircraft catch fire before you came out?
Yes. Okay. A little bit fire. After me, I'm out. Then blast.
Investigators are now piecing together what could have gone so badly wrong to cause the first ever Dreamliner 787 crash. The black boxes were retrieved Friday and they'll offer vital information.
And the plane's wings, we're told, clipped those trees behind me, flew over these buildings before crashing over there.
And up on the roof, we see how this could have been an even bigger catastrophe.
Hundreds, thousands of people live in this neighborhood. It's packed with people. And just 100 yards or so from where I am, that is...
Flash! He didn't even say he jumped out. So that was the report I read a couple of days ago. He said just then that he walked out. And then the explosion happened. Fuck! That's wild!
Yeah, before you came out?
Yes. Okay. A little bit fire. After me, I'm out. Then blast.
Investigators are now piecing together what could have gone so badly wrong to cause the first ever Dreamliner 787 crash. The black boxes were retrieved Friday and they'll offer vital information.
And the plane's wings, we're told...
This was apparently the plane that the Boeing whistleblower was concerned about.
Over there.
And up on the roof, we see how this could have been an even bigger catastrophe.
I had an article about that, but I don't have it handy right now.
Packed with people, and just 100 yards or so away from where I am, that is the fuselage.
If you believe in conspiracy theories.
By the investigators is that the landing gear was down when it should have been up, and it appears that the flaps, which should have been down, were up, which means that perhaps For some reason, the flaps
Byronic, welcome in.
Actually, the landing gear that needed to be raised.
I have a feeling Byronic doesn't like it when I do video games. You don't want to play Final Fantasy with me? Did Soup ask for a cat and I didn't give a cat? I feel bad. That would make me very sad if I did not provide a cat. You want to see a cat now? I probably shouldn't get up though. I'm not wearing any pants. But I'm not wearing any pants. So that kind of makes it hard to get up and get a cat. My apologies. Wait, Randy Weingarten was part of the DNC? I thought she was the teachers union president. What's DNC and Post with the what position did she hold in the DNC? I appear to be out of step with the leadership you are forging. She wrote in a letter to DNC Chair Ken Martin. She's been a member of the DNC for 23 years. She's just a member. Defended David Hogg. Wow, excellent. I mean, there's a reason why there's a reason why the right hates her. So if the right is really against somebody, there's a reason why. I'm not high enough for this shit. How did Byronic not come in here and hit the weed? He always does that. Final Fantasy 16 is very pretty. And it's got a really good story, and it's fun. Fair enough, DJ Dub. Fair enough. So last night we did most of the parade. I don't think anything fun happened after I left. We got the Trump speech in. I went out to dinner with Sparkles last night, and that was a lot of fun. So sorry to leave you early and cut things short. Ponder Buggy, welcome in. One of the things we mentioned on the stream last night, but we didn't do a news hit on it or anything, was the fact that a veterans group went to D.C. to protest Trump's stupid ass parade. 60 parade protesters arrested.
On the parade and celebration, people were also protesting and police were making arrests. A group of veterans and their families gathered in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. They demanded the taxpayer money that is being spent on the parade and to put U.S. troops in Los Angeles be used instead for housing, health care, and food. News 4's Jackie Benson is live on Capitol Hill tonight with the very latest. Jackie.
Sounds fucking socialist to me. So the military's kind of weird. About what, Flash, what would you say? It's over half come out stupid chuds. 60%? 65%, maybe up to 70% come out stupid chuds. The other 30%, up to 40% come out radicalized by the experience and usually go pretty fucking leftist. So,
Jackie?
Well, Sean, this was an extremely passionate protest.
Am I being too
Some
generous?
of those who gathered here went across to the U.S. Capitol afterward. I think we have some video to show of what happened over there at that point. It was provided to us by the organizers, a group called About Face Veterans Against the War. Now, Capitol Police say they made 60 arrests for unlawful demonstration. One of those arrested a Vietnam vet who uses a walker. We were told some may also face charges of assault on police officers and resisting arrest.
Money for people, not parades!
Money for people, not parades! U.S. military veterans of conflicts ranging from Vietnam to Afghanistan, 100 strong, different branches.
One thing about people on the left that kind of irk me is they can be very intolerant of people that served in the military, but like Flash said, one of the best things to turn chuds into radicalized leftists is the military.
United in their personal conviction that the millions of dollars...
Yeah, a Vietnam vet with a walker.
...parade in the nation's capital is both wasteful and inappropriate.
It feels like this whole dog and pony show that the president is trying to make about the Army is actually about him, and it's actually a distraction from the fact that his administration is doing everything that they can to cut life-saving services that veterans and our communities rely on.
One after another, they spoke against what they called the unlawfulness of the administration's current deployment of U.S. troops in American cities.
If you want to thank me for my service, don't make it a hollow platitude or empty words. My service was to preserve and defend our Constitution, and now we are seeing the president betray our service.
This administration has or will likely place you in a position where...
Got a Free Palestine hat on.
Harm innocent people. Support their kidnapping. Suppress legal protests and expressions of the First Amendment, or follow your conscience. You not only have a right, but an obligation to refuse illegal orders.
And again, about 60 veterans arrested here after a passionate protest went across the street to the U.S. Capitol and arrested for unlawful demonstration. Live outside the United States Supreme Court, Jackie Benson, News 4. Back to you.
Hey, Jackie, let me just ask real quick. I don't know if you know, but I know there are other protests from different groups planned tomorrow. Do these guys plan to come back and protest again tomorrow as well?
This tonight, this was their big protest. But one of the things that I found very interesting, Sean, and you can obviously see what happened with the actions after this, is they said that, they had heard there was talk about cracking down on protests against this parade, and they felt very strongly about being here tonight.
That makes sense. I understand that. All right, Jackie Benson with the latest for us. Jackie, thank you.
So wait a minute. Is she the only one that served in the family and she's the leftist? Or liberal on the left side of the spectrum? Yeah, ironic how that happens, right? I have a friend that was a chud when he went in, chud when he came out, and then got very radicalized afterwards. He took his money, he took his, whatever benefit, went to college, studied history. He would watch me, but I'm not far enough left for him. He's in some far left parts of the internet, apparently. Some people did have a good time at the parade last night. This Fox News correspondent seemingly intoxicated during her hit.
With us now is former Defense Intel Agency officer Rebecca Koffler. Rebecca, what are your thoughts tonight on the incredible symbolism and the messaging that we saw here tonight from the Commander-in-Chief on the Army's 250th birthday?
I am
so excited, Emily and Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody, like, this is incredible. Finally, the United States is back. I want to really thank all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have been sacrificed.
Okay, I wasn't going to believe it, but she really is sloshed, isn't she?
Emily and Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody.
She was a guest. She former Defense Intelligence Agency officer. She was a Defense Intelligence Agency officer. She's probably a Fox News correspondent.
I am so excited, Emily and
At first, I just thought she was Australian or something.
Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody, like, this is incredible. Finally, the United States is back. I want to really thank all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have been sacrificing their lives. Literally,
is she special needs?
Families have been contributing to the mission. Most of the time for the past quarter of a century, because of the mismanagement of the administrative states, they've been fighting these foreign wars. But with our new in chief, Donald J. Trump, they are prioritizing.
What's ESL?
First, and I want to thank these officers for all of these sacrifices and all of the hardships that their families have been doing. Lawrence,
yeah, I feel like she might not be drunk. She might be.
Man, like you guys are incredible, Lucas.
Thank you.
I want to thank.
We're up
Thank
against
you
the break
so
with
much,
the
Rebecca. Thank
extra special lover.
you. Well, our final.
Okay, it could totally be English as her second language. Like, I thought she was just Australian at first.
I am so excited, Emily and Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody, like, this is incredible. Finally, the United States is back.
And also to be nervous to be on TV.
Thank all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have been sacrificing.
I feel bad. Like, I feel like she might have
life.
an issue.
Literally, their families have been contributing to the mission. Most of the time for the past quarter of a century.
She calmed her nerves.
Because
a little drinky boo.
Management of the administrative states, they've been fighting these foreign wars. But with our new in chief, Donald J. Trump, they are prioritizing America first, and I want to thank these officers for all of these sacrifices and mismanagement.
She's not bad looking. I guess she could be my GOP mommy. This was the scene in LA right around 5 p.m. yesterday. Pay close attention to what the reporter says.
It's David, Chris, what you have behind me is Temple and Main Street at
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are deploying CS gas, tear gas, pepper spray, and flashbang grenades in large numbers. They have mounted units pushing directly up against protesters. I want to show you, but over here is the remnants of the peaceful protest that happened earlier today on the other side of Main Street, right next to City Hall, which is where the march started this morning. I don't know if you can hear me okay. I'm wearing my gas mask because I'm literally surrounded by the chemical agents that those guys, the county sheriff's department, the LA County Sheriffs, have been deploying against this crowd. The point I want to make, flashbangs, the point I want to make very clear, Chris, is that obviously I'm only one person. I can't account for the actions of every protester, but every single gathering that I saw today was 100% peaceful. I didn't see anybody throw anything. I saw some people antagonizing the Marines and the National Guard, and that's about the extent of it. Nevertheless, and I've been here all week, Chris, and local law enforcement, LAPD, county sheriffs, and state police, CHP, California Highway Patrol, have been responding to these peaceful gatherings with overwhelming numbers. Tremendous more. I've covered protests in the U.S. and abroad for years, and I've never seen the ratio of police to protesters that I've seen in recent days.
I said it multiple times. There were more police there than there were protesters. And the funniest thing about all this is that, yes, RB, the cops were indeed the ones that initiated violence, but the LAPD got hit by the LA County Sheriff's Department with less than lethal munitions. I tried my best to find video of it. I couldn't, but here's the audio.
Getting shot. Our own officers are getting shot by the sheriff. Queen 350, we're taking bottles now. Mid-block on Main between Temple and Thur. We're taking bottles. And we're getting shot by LAFD. Our own officers are getting shot. Our own officers are getting shot by the sheriff. Queen 350, we're taking bottles now. Mid-block on Main between Temple and Thur. We're taking bottles. And we're getting shot by LAFD. Getting shot. Our own officers are getting shot by the sheriff.
Couldn't have any nicer people, right? Oh, shit. It would be a lot funnier if they weren't also harassing innocent people and shooting off these munitions at innocent people the entire time.
It looks like I'm about to find out.
Igloo, welcome in.
Ooh, fuck. Look at the amount of troops that they pulled in behind them, like the units.
Hey, I dropped my sign. Can you go get my sign for me?
Jesse, thank you. Mallory, thank you.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
Oh, here we go, here we go. Gas is going out.
That one was just so nonchalant about it.
Oh my God.
But I believe this is the intersection where the cops were getting gassed by other cops.
Holy
100% instigated by the stupid fucking cops. T-, thank you for throwing out the gift sub. Here is insane footage of a cop losing it. He was on live TV as he goes off on a protester for no freaking reason.
No, I didn't. You're on TV, and now you're pushing me on live television. All right, we didn't touch anybody. You know that's true. You're okay. Thank you. I got it. So you can see, obviously, tensions are extremely high here.
Yes, because you touched the officer. Don't touch the officer.
This is a reporter.
Okay. Obviously, massively high tensions here. These folks are tired. They are also hot. It's a long day, and it's been a long...
Fuck them.
We clearly didn't touch the officers. You're on live television, sir.
Yes, you did.
We were live on the air. Thank you so much. We will stay back. We appreciate what you're doing here.
I don't appreciate it.
That was a moment that we haven't experienced very often here. I think that there has been respect between the media and law enforcement here. We have kept our distance. No, I didn't. You're on TV, and now you're pushing me on live television. All right, we didn't touch anybody. You know that's true. You're okay. Thank you. I got it. So you can see, obviously, tensions are extremely high here.
Yes, because you touched the officer. Don't touch the officer.
We have video testimony. Nobody touched an officer. Okay. Obviously, massively high tensions here. These folks are so hot. It's a long day, and it's been a long week.
The aggro coming from the cop side.
We clearly didn't touch the officers. You're on live television.
You're seeing it.
We're live on the air. Thank you so much. We will stay back. We appreciate what you're doing here.
No, we fucking don't.
We haven't experienced...
Speak for yourself.
Here, I think that there has been respect between the media and law enforcement here.
Respect.
Our distance.
Bullshit. I think there's been respect between the media and law enforcement as they're fucking shoving you. Dystopia. The protests weren't peaceful, but all the violence was coming from the cops and outside agitators. In Virginia, a man drove through a crowd in a protest. He has been arrested. One person was injured. Luckily, only one person injured.
A 21-year-old is in custody tonight after he allegedly drove his SUV into a crowd of No Kings protesters in Northern Virginia. Police say that this happened in Culpeper County in the town of Culpeper. As protesters were leaving the area, police saw the SUV drive recklessly through the crowd, hitting at least one person. Police stopped and arrested Joseph Cheklik after determining that he intentionally accelerated into the crowd. He could face additional charges as the...
Yeah, it looks like the type.
He's on. Our Leslie Moreno is in Culpeper tonight. She will have more on this story coming up on the news at 11.
In Inglewood, California, a man drove through protesters outside of SoFi Stadium. Repentant man, I do not remember you. As in Henry Winkler, I don't think you are. But if you are, I enjoy your work. Big fan. Probably shouldn't let you around kids, though. We have witnesses from outside of SoFi Stadium.
Now at 8:30, several people are recovering this morning after a car crashed into a crowd of people in Inglewood late last night.
And one of those victims we're learning is a 14-year-old boy. It happened near SoFi Stadium. KTLA 5's Gene Kang joins us live now from Inglewood with that story. And you've been talking to some folks out there, Gene.
Inglewood.
Good morning, Megan and Lauren. Talk about a shocking incident right here. This is Central Boulevard, not far from Intuit Dome, as well as other major venues. As you see, those skid marks are up on the sidewalk and signs are posted. This is where that car swerved into the crowd.
Well, if you've got skid marks, be sure to wash your ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth or a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
I'm sorry, I'm ashamed of myself. And fucking repentant. God damn, you got me there.
shocking incident right here.
Can't argue with that.
Boulevard, not far from Intuit Dome, as well as other major venues. As you see, those skid marks are up on the sidewalk and signs are posted. This is where that car swerved into the crowd of protesters and then hit that fence before causing so much damage. We're hearing from witnesses. A 16 and 14-year-old were among those hurt.
Oh.
Chaos erupted as witnesses say a Dodge Charger barreled through that crowd, hurting several people while others ran for safety. Police say the driver was among the large group protesting ICE raids on No King's Day Saturday night. LA County Fire paramedics responded, helping treat at least 6 victims here at Century Boulevard and Prairie Avenue, including the driver. They suffered serious to minor wounds. Several were transported to area hospitals. Witnesses say the youngest victim was just 14 years old. We talked to witnesses this morning, including Jay Gonzalez, who was there protesting last night when he says the driver was trying to show off and suddenly swerved into the crowd.
Show off?
What did you see?
Yeah, so we were out here in a peaceful protest, trying to speak up for those who can't. And we just saw people going out of control, you know. We were trying to peacefully protest, but some people are trying to take it to the next level. And we saw him just trying to do his burnout, you know, trying to get people's attention and attract everybody's attention. But once he lost control, we knew it was going to be something bad.
Then there's this angle. Sky 5 shows the destruction. You can see the car with a mangled hood and the twisted fence. This collision happened around 10:30 Saturday night on this busy street close to large venues
Charger
mentioned earlier, including the Intuit Dome and SoFi Stadium here in Inglewood. Police say the driver remained at the scene and cooperated with their investigation. We're waiting this morning to hear if charges will be filed.
Well, at least it wasn't an intentional act.
At least 6 people were hurt, including 1 teenager, if not more. Back out here live, as you see this mangled mess, we are told that the victims are being treated at local hospitals, but they are expected to recover, which is good news after seeing all of this mess. Reporting live here in Inglewood, Gene Kang, back to you in the studio.
Mustangs do crave blood. They're very loose in the back end. I'm glad to know that wasn't intentional. Unfortunately, this incident was very intentional, and I'm gonna have to hit the content warning for it. We're going to Salt Lake City, Utah, where a shooter descended on the No Kings March.
We just heard shots. Everyone's running.
Yeah, it's a very incontinent car. Ironic.
Someone's saying that there's guys.
Crazed gunman was taken into custody Saturday night after allegedly opening fire on thousands of protesters in Utah.
At the No Kings protest.
This incident happened around 8 p.m., sending a crowd of more than 10,000 people running as gunshots rang out. The wounded victim reportedly collapsed at the scene where he received emergency treatment. Nobody killed, though, luckily.
What happened?
He got shot in the head.
Who? By who?
In the head?
I don't know. I saw some guy in a yellow vest with a gun pointing it.
They shot and killed him. I don't know.
Wait, I thought he was only injured.
Outside the federal building in Salt Lake City. Someone just got shot not even 100 feet away. Can you text me? Where's the guy down at? Right down there. Okay. Hey, find it, and then.
Absolutely fascinating.
One stop, guys.
This is the video of the scene directly after. Press conference was held earlier today. Let's get the update.
Head out live now to the press conference for an update on the manhunt. Let's listen in.
Oh, no, wrong thing. Law Dog, welcome in. No, I don't want that. I want the... This is the press conference from earlier in Salt Lake City. Unless it copied the wrong link again.
Good afternoon. My name is Brent Weisberg. I'm the Communications Administrative Director for the Salt Lake City Police Department. Today, Chief Brian Redd is going to be providing an update regarding the shooting that happened last night during the No Kings protest demonstration and march in downtown Salt Lake City. Keep in mind that the information that we are providing is still preliminary and the investigations are ongoing. We will be able to take a few questions afterwards. I'll turn the time now to Chief Redd.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Deputy Chief Siebenek and Commander Alma Sweeney from our investigation.
All right, get to it, Pig.
For being here with me today.
Flash, get your calipers out.
I want to thank all of you.
We got some candidates.
First of all, we send our condolences to the family of the individual who was deceased at the hospital.
Okay, so they did die at the hospital from their injuries.
For anyone else impacted by this event. No one should fear coming to a demonstration, a peaceful and lawful demonstration in our city. And what happened last night was sudden and alarming and not representative of our values here in Salt Lake City or in our state here in Utah. In the coming days, we'll learn more as the investigation progresses, but we will provide a few more details today. But before I do that, I just want to thank again the brave men and women of the Salt Lake City Police Department and our allied agencies for their response to this sudden and unanticipated action that occurred. Our teams acted with courage and professionalism and responded very quickly in the middle of a lot of chaos. As one of our officers said today, when you think we talk about all the time officers running toward gunfire, and that's exactly what happened last night. And one of our officers said, it's easy to run toward gunfire when you're with a highly trained...
Nobody gives a shit about what your cops are doing.
This is representative of what our Salt Lake City officers and our allied agencies are willing to do every day for the public.
Warlord, welcome in.
To the details of the investigation to date, always subject to change. As the march permitted through downtown, a sergeant assigned to our motor squad heard gunfire.
Did you arrest somebody?
Officers on the ground secured the scene and began searching for...
Is the suspect deceased?
When they arrived, they found a man down with a gunshot wound and began life-saving efforts. 2 SWAT medics were on scene very quickly and provided those life-saving efforts until Salt Lake City Fire and Gold Cross ambulance arrived and proceeded to take the individual into their care. Despite their efforts, the victim did die at the hospital. And out of respect for the victim and their family, I won't be releasing the name here, but it will be released later today. Our preliminary investigation shows that our victim was not the intended target, but rather an innocent bystander participating in the demonstration. Shortly after the shooting, officers and detectives were flagged down near 100 South, 200 East, and there they found a man later identified as 24-year-old Arturo Gamboa. He had a minor gunshot wound and was hiding in a group of people.
Arturo Gamboa.
Arrest. Officers also recovered an AR-15 style rifle, a gas mask, and a backpack. Gamboa was treated and later booked into jail on a charge of murder. At the time of the incident, we also detained 2 other individuals. These individuals were wearing high visibility neon vests and were armed and possibly part of the event's peacekeeping team. Based on early witness statements, these men saw Gamboa separate from the crowd at one point during the march and move behind a wall where they noticed him pull out a rifle and begin manipulating it. Gamboa was then confronted by these 2 men. Witnesses say Gamboa raised the weapon in a firing position and began running toward the crowd. One of the individuals fired 3 rounds, striking Gamboa and tragically striking the man who later died.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So we now come to the facts of the matter, which is that the victim in this case was not shot by the perpetrator, but by somebody trying to shoot the perpetrator. Huh. So why is the perpetrator charged with murder? This is...
Gamboa was then confronted by these 2 men. Witnesses say Gamboa raised the weapon in a firing position and began running toward the crowd. One of the individuals fired 3 rounds, striking Gamboa and tragically...
It sounds like the dude didn't actually do anything. That he just had a gun and somebody else with a gun was like, oh, that dude with a gun's a danger. But the only person that was a danger with a gun was the supposed good guy with a gun. Am I wrong here? What is going on? He said safety team? Like these were people in yellow vests, but they weren't cops? Is that what you're telling me?
Striking the man who later died. We are less than 24 hours into this investigation. There's still a lot of questions to be answered, and we will continue to update you as we learn more and the investigation progresses. What we do know is that this incident unfolded very quickly. It was chaotic, but it was resolved very quickly, thanks to our officers, to many residents and citizens and community members who assisted the police in making notifications and pointing out individuals and being very good community members and helpful. Our detectives are working closely with the Salt Lake District Attorney's Office to ensure a thorough review of all the facts. As the governor and mayor said last night, we are resilient, and we will continue to work tirelessly as the Salt Lake City Police Department to keep our community safe. Again, I want to thank our officers.
Well, at least this wasn't a targeted attack again. Fuck. Some bright side, some solace to take from the story. God fucking damn it. This is insane. As of a couple of hours ago, the manhunt in Minnesota continues. They actually just had a press conference a few moments ago.
Now, a lot of people in Sibley County, they woke up to this alert. We'll show you on your screen right now that they located what they believe to be the shooter's vehicle near Highway 25. They're telling people still in Sibley County Stay in your homes with your doors
So this is
locked.
a separate vehicle from the
Cannot use any of
cop
these
car that was
places
found
to
at the
hide.
scene.
And that, of course, they want anyone to report any suspicious activity to 911. They did let the community know that they would be going door to door, and we saw some video of that earlier, our new drone video of officers approaching various properties to question the people.
Do you really want to go door to door when a motherfucker is posing as a cop?
Inside and make sure they're okay and search the properties and make sure that he's not trying to seek refuge in any of them. Our Joe McCoy has been live in Sibley County near the scene of where they found that vehicle for hours already this morning. Joe, what are you seeing right now?
Julie, we are still seeing that incredibly large police presence here along Highway 25 where that car was found, where that cowboy hat was found, where there's also a property down there. Now, I do think one thing that has been interesting, Julie, and you and Lou were talking so eloquently about how he could have potentially gotten away from Senator or Representative Hortman's home in the middle of the night after he and law enforcement exchanged, allegedly exchanged some gunfire. I also think there's a large question of how he then escaped from the home and then got to Minneapolis and then seemingly got from Minneapolis to out here in Green Isle. That car that law enforcement is saying is the suspect's vehicle. We do not know if that car is registered to the suspect, but he did come out here and then leave that vehicle right off the side of the road here on Highway 25. And then also there was that cowboy hat that we have not had it confirmed if that is Vance Belcher's cowboy hat, but it does look remarkably similar to the one that he was wearing in that photo that was captured by security cameras. So that car and that cowboy hat have been here the entire morning. When my photographer and I arrived on scene here around 8:45. We do not know, however, how long that car and that cowboy hat have been here for. We do not know if that car that law enforcement is saying was or not was his car, because we don't know if it's exactly Belcher's car, but a car that he was driving. We do not know when he got out of that car and ditched it on the side of the road. And if that is his cowboy hat, we do not know when that cowboy hat was then put on the side of the road. So still lots of questions, Julie, as this scene behind us continues.
A cowboy hat on the side of the road.
Presence has only ratcheted up.
You think he left it on top of his car?
Multiple canine units. We have seen multiple SWAT units arrive on scene. Numerous
agents on top of whatever car he rode off in after he ditched it
have arrived on scene here. So it's just been continuing to develop throughout the afternoon.
I'm still not going to watch him flash.
What you and Lou have already discussed about those tactical teams and law enforcement going from home.
Are you going to make me do the rant again?
Properties. So that emergency alert that was placed and that we all received on our phone around 10:45, we have not received an alert to say that emergency alert is no longer in effect. So we have to assume that emergency alert is still in effect, where law enforcement is telling people, to stay in their homes, make sure their doors are locked, and all things of that nature. And that is as law enforcement is going home to home out here in Green Isle, searching properties for what we would believe would be Vance Belcher. I want to be very clear, we do not know if Vance Belcher is down this road here.
Vance Belcher.
Where there's very large police presence. We do not know what authority.
Sorry, I've just been reading his name. I've not heard it out loud yet until now.
Throughout the morning and early afternoon, Julie.
Vance Belcher.
I have a question for you, just so our viewers kind of understand how we receive some of this information. There are official press conferences and interviews that have been done periodically, and then a lot of these tidbits that we've been able to get come from sources that we've been able to individually contact. I'm wondering, Joe, I know you've been there a few hours already this morning. Has there been any sort of press conference there or any sort of official information relayed from authorities? And if not, have you been told if they plan to at any point?
Tidbits.
No, we have not. There has not been any press conference, Lou. Neither have we been told if they are planning to hold.
Tidbit slap.
To bring some transparency to our viewers, the reason that my photographer and I came down here to Green Isle again around 8.
Spoiler alert, there's a press conference.
Because we heard on police scanners that potentially law enforcement had located a vehicle and had located this cowboy hat along the side of the road. So that's why my photographer and I made the 45 or so minute drive from the Twin Cities here up to Green Isle. But no, we have not heard any official word from law enforcement about the operations that they are conducting back there, or if they have found anything yet. And we have not been able to talk to anyone yet on if there is going to be some sort of official press conference later this evening, Lou.
All right, thanks, Joe. And it looks like at least a mile or two of Highway 25 is completely blocked off to the public down there.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, it's a large section. I can't give a great estimation. Oh, excuse me. I just want to say I can't give a great estimation of how large there is this section of Highway 25 that is blocked off, but it is a considerable amount, Lou, for sure.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you. We'll check back in a little bit. We want to remind people that if you have any information, this is the tip line. Well,
he's not wearing the cowboy hat anymore.
If you know anything about Vance Belter, where he may be, have any information that could help them find him, there is a $50,000 reward right now.
He looks like a Lance Belter.
FBI, so there is
I'm sorry, Vance.
To call if you think you have any useful information in this case. It is going to, when they find him, it is going to be a great relief for so many people.
I should call him and tell him, well, he's not wearing the cowboy hat anymore.
Really thinking about them.
So you should stop advertising that.
Who had a hit list with
Graham Branch, welcome in.
70 names on it, is still on the loose. So the
50 grand if you know anything about him.
Presence, obviously understandable, especially.
You want to get a posse together?
He did open fire on officers when they came across him.
It is true. They won't give you the reward.
And that's such a massive area, not highly populated, but just so much ground to cover in Sibley County to look for this man.
It was like a girl that worked at the McDonald's
this morning that what appears to be his cowboy hat.
Turned in, Luigi found that out.
Highway 25. Lou, of course, everything.
Libertad. ACAB means fake cops too.
But a lot of people questioning, really, that hat was just sitting there on the side of the highway, almost as if it was just planted there. It's just one of those things that as more information becomes available, answers will be forthcoming, I am sure.
But you know what? Also,
but it is stunning.
These images of him wearing the hat came out. He obviously didn't take any precaution to hide the vehicle he was in. It looks like he got out of the car, dropped the hat, and then went wherever he was going from there.
Well, and also, it's interesting to me that he went to a bank to withdraw money, which is where we understand we got those pictures from, where you see him in the hat. Obviously knew that he would be on security cameras if he's going to a bank.
And not just that, it is another contradiction, because if this was something that he planned out so thoroughly, why would he need to go withdraw money ahead of time after doing these shootings? So again, somebody who's probably not thinking.
Also, the dude, it was a security professional apparently. They're saying he's not thinking straight, but like this was a thing that he did professionally.
But you know what? Also, these images of him wearing the hat came out. He obviously didn't take any precaution to hide the vehicle he was in. It looks like he got out of the car, dropped the hat, and then went wherever he was going from there.
Well, and also, it's interesting to me that he went to a bank to withdraw money, which is where we understand we got those pictures from, where you see him in the hat. Obviously knew that he would be on security cameras if he's going to a bank.
And not just that, it is another contradiction, because if this was something that he planned out so thoroughly, why would he need to go withdraw money after doing these shootings? So again, somebody who's probably not thinking clearly, and
not a mastermind
when you try to make sense out of it, then that's when these contradictions come up, and that's why those conspiracy theories are not worth it, because you're not dealing with somebody who's thinking in a straight line.
That's usually what I say.
That we are talking about. We have seen all kinds of.
Once again, this dude is supposedly a trained professional.
Pretty stunning to me how much information actually the FBI and the BCA have released. Sometimes in these investigations, things go on for a very long time without them sharing any information
I think
at all.
It's immediate danger to public safety.
Yeah.
People need to know what this guy looks like
and what he's capable
in case he happens into their property. I mean, it's as simple as that.
And oftentimes in the situation where we were at the North Minneapolis property, after law enforcement had literally taken a battering ram and opened the front door and had searched that property, oftentimes in situations like that, the people who live in the house don't want to talk to us. We know even more because the man who says he's been best friends with Vance Belter since 4th grade was willing to talk. And it was really moving.
Yeah, we're going to hear from him here in just a second.
Porch, and he read out loud the last text that he had received.
But before that, I feel like you guys might want to hear from Vance Belter. What was Vance Belter like?
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
Et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
C'est que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est Dieu.
Almighty God.
C'est
Jay-Z.
Saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And
Jésus,
he's
il revient encore.
And He's got plans. He's got plans
de plans
and purposes
et le dessein
for each one of you
pour chacun de vous ici
and for me.
Et pour moi aussi.
One more time.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste
Vance Belter, ladies and gentlemen.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
Je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
Combo Weasel.
Fait pour moi.
If you just walked into this was the man accused of murdering one Minnesota lawmaker, injuring another Minnesota lawmaker, murdering 2 people in total, injuring 2 other people. A manhunt currently underway for this man.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
Je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
C'est que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est Dieu.
Almighty God.
C'est le Dieu puissant.
He saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And
Jésus,
he's
il revient encore.
And He's got plans.
He can have multiple orgasms.
De plans
and purposes.
Et le dessein
for each one of you.
Pour chacun de vous ici.
And for me.
Et pour moi aussi.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Dumbest timeline.
We appreciate you joining us. We are here to bring you some breaking news, a major development, we believe, in the manhunt for the man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers. Right now, there is a big police presence on Highway 25 in Sibley County, where our crew on the ground says that they have found the cowboy hat the suspect was last seen wearing. So we want to take a look at the map. We're going to show you where this
we just got that.
Highway 25, about halfway between Green Isle and Belle Plaine. Now, Green Isle is where the 57-year-old suspect reportedly owns a home. That's 57-year-old Vance Belter. And Joe McCoy is live at this new scene. Things are developing right now. But Joe, what can you tell us about what you're seeing out there?
Raya, it's truly an incredible moment out here.
Let's instead go to the press conference that happened just about 40 minutes ago. This is the full briefing that happened probably at the top of the hour. It was like 27 minutes ago. This is the latest in the manhunt.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Bob Jacobson. I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety, and it's my honor to be with you again today on this continuing investigation. First of all, I want to thank our law enforcement partners who are continuing to investigate and search for our suspect in this case. We appreciate all the time that they're taking away, including today on Father's Day, as they're trying to, again, get to a successful conclusion. I also want to thank the public for listening to what we're putting out there for information, assisting us in any way that they can in locating our suspect. We appreciate that very much, and their help is always, of course, appreciated. Today we'll have some speakers to present some information and updates on what's going on with our investigation.
Yeah, that's what we expected.
After we're all done, there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Ryan Sabus. Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. It's in moments like this that we search for answers to something that defies understanding. A senseless and tragic act that has shaken us all. But in our darkest hours, we're reminded of the strength and resilience of community. We come together not only to grieve, but to stand strong. And together, we will rise. The heinous act should never have happened. Speaker Emeritus Melissa Hortman and Senator John Hoffman are not just public servants. They are remarkable individuals who have devoted their lives to serving others. Every person deserves to feel safe in their home, including those that are elected to lead us. We have the full confidence in our justice system and the professionals working tirelessly to bring individuals responsible to justice. The Champlin Police Department, the Brooklyn Park Police Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, and the FBI, all working closely in coordination on this ongoing and active investigation. We are anxiously awaiting news of justice, and we will not rest until that happens. If you have any information, please contact the tip line at bca.tips@state.mn.us or call 877-996-6222 or your local police department. Your voice could make the difference. Now more than ever, we must truly focus on what matters. Beneath all of our differences, political, personal, or otherwise, we are all human beings, and every human life has a value. Let us move forward with compassion, unity, and a fierce resolve for care for one another. While this tragedy has deeply impacted our cities, the people of Champlin, Brooklyn Park, and the greater Minnesota community are strong. We support those who are grieving, we honor those that we have lost, and we stand beside those that are still fighting. Champlin, Brooklyn Park, surrounding areas, stay strong, show love, show respect, be kind, and never forget the strength that we hold when we stand together. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Winston. Thank you.
Hi, so Mayor Winston of the city of Brooklyn Park. As I've said before, prayers and support go out to the families of the Hoffmans and the Hortmans. I know that our cities, Champlin Park, and Brooklyn Park are going through a fair amount of grief. But in reality, there's no distance between Brooklyn.
The Republicans keep saying it was a Democratic shooter because the Blaze were the first ones to report that he was an appointee of Governor Walz, which is technically true, but it was like an appointment to some stupid fucking business board that had fucking dozens of members that like the business community would give recommendations to. Like it had nothing to do with political allegiances. The dude was indeed a right-winger, as you are going to hear momentarily.
Park and Champlin Park in terms of supporting the families. Because of this, we know that Speaker Hortman, beyond her legislative impact, has had such an impact on unifying our communities and bringing them together. And even in a personal level, she's been dedicated to helping youth when nobody was looking. And when we look at Senator Hoffman earlier today, I was at a prayer vigil for him. And we were talking about how are we going to support the family and come together. And we realized that the number of families that we're going to have to reach out to and the communities we're going to have to reach out to bring everyone together, he's just had such an outsized impact. It's going to be a fair amount of work to properly support and honor him. Because of that, we're really supporting law enforcement in this, and we want to thank law enforcement for the pursuit of justice. So we talk about Governor Walz and Commissioner Jacobson and the resources they made available immediately to our resources at the federal level, the support that we're getting there, county, region.
Yeah, get to it.
Brooklyn Park, I think the work that was done there saved a number of lives. And again, they're committed to justice. And to assist them, we're asking, I think it was said earlier, we asked folks if they have information, please reach out to a tip line. And also, please, if you're looking for information, track real points of information, directly contact or look at information from law enforcement sources. Avoid not sharing or sharing misinformation. And then also let's realize it's a time for calming words and influence. We are one community, so we very much need to come together on this and support one another. Again, there is some healing that needs to be done here, and we really want to support the families. Again, prayers go out to the families of the Hortmans and the Hoffmans. So thank you, everybody, for your support, and thank you for support not just for within Brooklyn Park or Champlin, but also thank you for support from across the country and through greater Minnesota.
Thank you, Mayor, and mayors and commissioner, and for everybody. I am Drew Evans, the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Let's get with the details
on what we've been working on today and where we are continuing to go. Law enforcement continues to work in partnership to locate and take into custody Vance Bolter in relation to these murders and attempted murders. There's a nationwide warrant for his arrest for the murders and attempted murders in this case at the state level, and there's also then a federal warrant for the same crime, or for him as well, for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. That's through the coordination that's been done with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. And
once again, this press conference just ended.
And so he is wanted on those across the United States. He is not in custody at this time. This remains a very active investigation. We continue to conduct interviews on the investigative piece, not only to learn his whereabouts, but also to follow up on the case and gather the information as part of these the prosecution related to him. As you may have noted today, and I know you've been around and the sheriff provided some updates, there is information that led us to do the searches that continue in Sibley County in that area. Those teams will continue to be active until they feel that they have done a thorough and complete search in that area for him. I want to reiterate for everybody, if you know anything about his whereabouts, or if you spot anything suspicious or may have been suspicious in the last 24 hours, anywhere, but certainly down in that area, to please contact law enforcement, either your local law enforcement and through our tip line. I also want to remind everybody that there's a $50,000 reward offered by the FBI in this particular case.
He's even laughing as he said it.
Capture of him related to this, and that is offered by the FBI. The teams that continue to work on this is over 100 law enforcement officers and numerous
totally Flash
in that area searching for him. The BCA is working in partnership in this investigation with the Brooklyn Park Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, United States Marshal Service, Sibley County Sheriff's Office, and then numerous other agencies such as the State Patrol and other sheriff's offices from across the state of Minnesota and local law enforcement. This is of the utmost priority, and that is why you're seeing teams from the Twin Cities down in Sibley trying to apprehend him as quickly as possible. We did locate in that area that led us a vehicle that we had interest in related to him yesterday that we were.
They are totally not
Sibley County
translating what he's saying.
Also, I know it's been reported a hat that we believe he was wearing was found in proximity to that vehicle, which is what has led us to believing he was in that area. As we go forward on this, as we see what we would ask.
Is there anybody in the chat that speaks ASL?
Anything that you see as suspicious, to please report this to us. You know, for him, it is important now at this point that he's wanted for these to come into custody. We want that to be done safely, both for him and for the public, so that we can move forward with this.
They just said boobies. They had to.
The entire state of Minnesota. As they noted, our law enforcement continue to work very diligently and hard, and we know everybody wants answers. And what I'd ask for everybody today, I know it's been a long day without updates, but that's because it's been a very fluid day. There's been a number of different things that have been followed up on throughout the day and will continue to. As noted, we have taken in over 400 tips into our tip line already, and I would encourage people to continue to provide those so that our investigators can sift through those for clues and information that will lead us to him and to uncover exactly what's happening. Lastly, I would just remind everybody that, you know, we have families that continue to grieve, that are going through this process, and that it's very difficult for them.
They totally don't look mad.
With families related to this, trying to provide some answers. And while everybody wants an easy answer, I would encourage everybody online and in our communities to not speculate on what occurred and what the motivation was for this. We often want easy answers for complex problems, and this is a complex situation that our investigators
have
time to sift through the information and evidence.
Oh, the facial expressions are part of it.
Complete the full picture of our investigation, and we will continue.
Fair enough, but like especially because like some people read lips too.
With that, I'd be happy to answer some questions at this time, and I just remind everybody that it's a very active investigation.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not mocking them either. They're probably really cool.
Away from the scene where they were talking about the active investigation in City County. Did you find anything in that car? Our reporters noticed that there was something being grabbed.
Once again, this is a press conference that just wrapped up. This is the most up-to-date info.
We did find items of evidence in that car that are relevant to this investigation. We can't go into the details of that, but there were items recovered for that car that are relevant, that will be part of our investigation, that provide additional answers, and that lead us to believe, additionally, beyond looking for it, that he was associated with that vehicle.
Adrian Bronis from NBC News Network. Do you believe the suspect is trying to leave the country? And if so, do you have any evidence maybe headed toward Canada?
So the question is, do we believe that he is trying to leave the country or headed towards Canada? You know, there's a large law enforcement presence down in Sibley County, but we don't have him in custody. So we don't have evidence that he's
how easy would it be?
A particular destination, but all options are open to the investigative team, and they're exploring
the head up through Canada. It's a pretty wooded area once you get what?
The question is
40, 50 minutes north?
We believe in terms of
Twin Cities?
We have not concluded exactly how he is getting
wooded area and farm area.
It could be in multiple ways that
I've been there.
Traveled, and that's open, and that's why you see in that area a very large perimeter, because they're looking at various modes of transportation from there.
Hey, it's Brittany Shepard, ABC News. Do you believe the suspect is still alive? Can you tell us more about the traffic stop involved in why they attacked?
Yeah, the question is, do we believe he's still alive? We're certainly operating as though he's still alive and believe he is at this time, and will continue on as is. And the question about his wife and traffic stop, I think everybody would know that, you know, in any time an individual is identified as a suspect in investigation, we're going to talk to their family members and do that. So we met with his family, not just his wife, but other family members, to really understand what's going on, and that's part of that.
Met with.
Complete the investigation, and so that was part of what we're doing. Jay?
Jay Coles, Channel 5 News. Drew.
I take exception with the way he put that. What is going on here? This is fishy. Also, it's the piece I just showed you a little bit ago was supposed to be about his wife, and it wasn't. Vance Bolter's wife and vehicle with cash, passports. So authorities told Fox News that Jennifer Lene Bolter, in a vehicle with several other relatives, questioned after a traffic stop in Onamia. This was on Saturday morning. This was yesterday morning. My office assisted law enforcement from Hennepin County on a stop near a convenience store in the city of Anianima. Our role on this stop was perimeter. We did not search or question any of the occupants. I was told by my staff, who responded, that the shooting suspect's wife was in the car along with several other relatives. This is weird. The Mille Lacs County Sheriff's Office was not directly involved with searching the vehicle or questioning the occupants. There was a large group of investigators from several metro agencies on the scene. Fox 9 has been told that during the stop where the suspect's wife and relatives were questioned, they were found with passports and cash. Bolter's wife is not in custody. Bolter has been named as a suspect in the shooting that killed Minnesota Rep. Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. He's also suspected of shooting and injuring Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Unclear why the vehicle was stopped or if anyone was detained or arrested, but as of this evening, his wife not in custody. So, what a wild set of events. Well, she is the CEO of the security company the dude ran. So there's something fishy going on here. This was a friend of Vance Bolter.
Sheets of body armor or bullets or any of that?
No. He was always kind of into the military stuff. But it was just we were always like that. Me and him, we used to play army men.
How long had you guys known each other?
Since fourth grade, it's been 45 years, 50 years. God, it's been longer than that? Yeah, it must have been longer than that. Since
my fame on camera. Yeah, no, I was going to say that.
Wait, what happened to this dude's window and door? Did they bust in and search his house?
Forever we've been friends.
Yeah.
And then,
did you link him up with this house to live with you? Were you excited about that 2 years ago?
You know, we did see a reporter out front of a house they busted down.
he was living in Bloomington. He was a manager of a food place.
Yeah.
And then he quit the job and he went down to Africa, got things going down there, said he wanted to start his own companies.
So the security company, was that fully formed, or was that just an idea?
No, that was just some fantasy. It was you talk about it, but there was no movement on that part. And he always had a fascination with military equipment. So do I, but I'm 100 miles away from killing people.
Apparently in his manifesto there was some stuff about Planned Parenthood.
He had a manifesto?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Was there any beliefs about abortion? Or?
Yeah, he was a strong, but he hasn't talked about abortion for years. I mean, this goes back through the 90s. He really hated abortion. But we hardly ever talked. I haven't talked really about abortion for him for years. I mean, and nothing that it was at length, you know.
I think they did say roommates last night when we were watching coverage.
Sure, like, how did people know he had financial troubles? Like, you just heard that from him?
Well, he was trying to find it. He would always want to work, like 7 days a week, work. He was trying to get money to start his businesses and all that. So,
yeah.
But
better ingredients.
But he didn't like. You know, I don't like abortion, but
yeah,
I don't go to this extreme.
What did you know about these like squad cars he had? Like what the deal was with these cars he had?
Well, he was going to use them for his security company.
Oh.
So he bought them, and yeah, he was trying to start it up. So
he didn't technically have a security company yet.
How many those he had?
Yeah, I forgot that he had two. He has one, they towed it away in the back. That was his primary car. And I guess he had another one.
Oh, yeah, we watched him a little bit ago, Lenny.
It had lights on it and everything.
Well,
This wanted to dance for Jesus.
Lights on top, it just had lights on the sides. But I wish I...
When was the last time you talked to him?
Last night. And, you know, I wish I could go back in time and stop him. Say something to stop him. You know, you never know that your best friend's just about to do things that he's accused of doing. And
was he use the manager at Papa John's?
No.
He seemed normal.
Yeah, I mean, besides the appreciation for a friendship and all that.
And
he kind of, you know, maybe he had to keep it all buried deep inside. And I wish I could have saw it, you know. And we were having another friend from Kentucky move up here, and he was very excited about that. I mean, he was happy at times. And
at times.
Where did you guys grow up together?
We grew up together in Sleepy Eye.
Sleepy Eye?
Sleepy Eye?
And can I ask your name again, if you're comfortable sharing?
David Carlson.
David Carlson. Okay, is Carlson with a K or a C?
Oh, yeah, this dude seems cool.
Thank you so much.
I let him make a pizza for me. I bet he makes good pizza, too. If he's like the manager or assistant manager of the Papa John's, I bet he runs a tight ship. You get a good pizza from Miss Papa John's. God damn. Trump is mulling over adding 36 more countries to the travel ban.
U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is considering significantly expanding its travel restrictions by potentially banning citizens of 36 additional countries from entering the U.S. That's according to an internal State Department cable seen by Reuters, which outlined a dozen concerns about the countries in question and sought corrective action. The State Department did not immediately respond to requests for comment.
We don't want them.
Earlier this month, Trump signed a proclamation that banned the entry of citizens from 12 countries as part of an immigration crackdown launched at the start of his second term. 7 of those initial 12 countries are in Africa. 24 of the 36 further countries now considered for an expanded travel ban are also on that.
I assume countries he considers shithole countries, right?
Secretary of State Marco Rubio raised the lack of a competent or cooperative government by some mentioned countries to produce reliable identity documents. Another was, quote, questionable security of a country's passport and concern around nationals of a country being involved in acts of terrorism in the U.S. or anti-Semitic and anti-American activity. The cable said some countries were not cooperative in facilitating the removal of their nationals from the U.S. who were ordered to be removed, and that nationals were overstaying their U.S. visas. The cable noted that not all of these concerns pertain to every country listed.
Is it 420? Light one up, tip one back. Wait, it's not 420. It's 420 somewhere. Because of the half-hour offset. Curiouser. Good evening. You got here just in time for police chase. Only it's not like I don't have the chase. I just have the aftermath of what happened at the chase. This happened in Las Vegas. It's a wild fucking story. There was a carjacking, a murder, a police chase. There are actually some time zones that are half hours. Ponder Monkey. Yeah, it's 420 in Culver City. There are half-hour time zones somehow. That is a thing in Silver City. I'm sorry.
Fire engagement. I need everybody to watch the crossfire and watch your face of fire. We now have a victim inside this car.
I might have should have hit the content warning.
Investigators obtained showing a man accused of murder holding a driver hostage in this carjacking spree across the valley. It's video you are seeing first from our 8 News Now investigators.
In all, police say their suspect killed a young man inside a casino and then carjacked 3 drivers. 8 News Now investigator David Charnes live in studio. David obtaining these videos and piecing together what happened that day.
And it's a day that's left this 19-year-old to face state and federal charges and now possibly the death penalty as he's accused of killing a former state senator's son and then going on this wild chase.
Fucking wow.
Videos the 8 News Now investigators obtained start here around 3 in the morning. A security officer at the Aliante Casino talks to 19-year-old Arian Wormsley as he and another young man sit in a stolen car in the garage. Documents revealing it was the second time that same officer interacted with the pair that night. Less than an hour later, surveillance video from inside the casino shows 23-year-old Neonche Osborne walking around. He and a man police identified as Wormsley start talking when suddenly Wormsley hits Osborne over the head. He then shoots him several times. Police say Wormsley then drove off, carjacking a woman waiting at an auto repair shop. Police say Wormsley, now in this stolen SUV, led police on this chase down Boulder Highway. He crashes into another car in a bus stop, severely injuring at least 2 people. That's when the 911 calls started coming in.
Damn!
Tropicana and Boulder Highway.
For the head.
Amazing!
Several times. Police say Wormsley then drove off, carjacking a woman waiting at an auto repair shop. Police say Wormsley, now in this stolen SUV, led police on this chase down Boulder Highway. He crashes into another car in a bus stop, severely injuring at least 2 people. That's when the 911 calls started coming in.
There's been a major crash at Tropicana and Boulder Highway. Like really in the intersection, it hit the bus stop. I think there was people there.
Video from above shows him running out of the damaged SUV to a nearby drive-thru.
He's carjacking someone in the Burger King parking lot.
He wanted to go to Burger King.
That driver, now the second carjacking victim of the morning, telling police she left her phone in the car and she's tracking him.
The guy took my phone in my car, so I have his location.
He's going head on at someone Boulder Highway.
For the next half hour, police say Wormsley drove at speeds reaching 100 miles an hour.
Okay, we need to get this guy pitted out and stopped. He's already carjacked someone and already murdered someone, so we need to get
the chase goes down Boulder Highway, onto the freeway, into Henderson and back north.
Still doing over 100 on surface streets.
Until he loses control.
Sorry, getting out of the passenger side. He's in a white shirt. He's running across Boulder Highway. He's going to carjack this guy. We need to stop him.
A third carjacking.
Just climbing in the back seat.
Officers try to stop Wormsley in yet another car with his now 3rd carjacking victim at the wheel.
Is there a hostage now in that car with him?
Turning point action.
We carjacked a vehicle with hostages inside. There's hostages inside. Your call sign, please.
I need everybody to listen up. Right here. We have shots fired engagement. I need everybody to watch the crossfire and watch your face of fire. We now have a victim inside this car.
Wormsley in the back seat in the white shirt.
There are 2 people in the front seat, and then suspect is in the rear seat. Unknown if they're kidnapped victims or not. It seems likely. But at this point, we're doing 85 northbound Boulder Highway, or past the 95.
Officers eventually ramming that car with at least 4 different cruisers crashing into it. Police then converge on it, pulling Wormsley out. One of their body cameras capturing this image as police took him into custody. Certainly not something you see here every day. As you saw there, Wormsley is accused of carjacking 3 drivers, and there is no specific Nevada law for that, leading to those federal charges. I'm David Charnes, 8 News Now.
I would love to have a discussion. Would you like to do phone or Discord? I'm not high enough for this shit, I assume. Let's do Discord. That should work. If the link doesn't work, let me know. I think I had to add a new link the other day. Yeah, Dougie wants to know if you know their idol Charlie Kirk. Turning Points USA.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Charlie Cock. Yeah, I need to get some weed. Did the link work? I don't know. I think Dan Bongino, very sorry that he left the private sector. If you got a camera, I set it up to have people on screen now and not just the voice. Well, Chad's very happy. We haven't had a good discussion in a while. Nobody's called in. Nobody's gotten the Discord. It's been quite a bit. Here we go. Yes, I hear you, but hold on. It's not working on my end here. Let me change so everybody can hear you on screen. Speak for me.
Yeah, is this working now?
There we go. Yeah, everybody can hear you now. Who am I talking to?
Yeah. So my name is Jerry, and I work in direct connection with Turning Point USA.
Of course you're a Jerry, a fucking Jerry.
You know, I feel like when my mom named me that, you know, I feel like, you know, she just went really back in time, but you know.
Is it with a G or a J?
It's actually with a G, which is, you know, obviously not general spelling, I would say, but yeah.
I would say that's the cooler spelling, so you lucked out.
Yeah, most definitely, I agree, yeah.
So you sound British.
Yeah, I'm from the UK. But, I'm here in California right now.
Oh, you're out in California. So are you actually affiliated with TP USA?
I work with someone part of the media team.
Oh, well, cool. I think they're a disgusting organization. You know that, right?
Whoa. Why do you think that? Can I just, you know, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, like, you know, they bust rioters to the Capitol on January 6th to try to overturn our democracy. That really doesn't sit well with me.
Oh, you don't believe in the First Amendment, or?
I believe in the First Amendment. I don't believe in rioting at the Capitol in an attempt to overturn a free and fair election.
I mean, do you believe the right to, you know...
Especially by an AstroTurf group like Turning Points USA, which bust in people backed by billionaire money. You know, that shit don't sit well with me. Like, that's my main problem with the group, is that, you know, you're sloshing around in all this big money, and you're trying to sway public opinion in favor of fucking billionaires, as opposed to being some that's the way you guys paint yourself too. You're some grassroots organization. You're just out here doing the will of the people, and you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue and say it's actually the complete opposite. Personally, from my view, I would say that
you could argue that, and you're right to be wrong. You know.
Sure, but I would say, like, when we've seen Kamala Harris running and Trump running in the presidential election, more openly, I should say openly, more billionaires supported Kamala Harris than they did Donald Trump.
You are correct, but then, like, look at Trump's cabinet. How many billionaires are in the cabinet now? And specifically, that's a good deflection off of the fact that, you know, Turning Point USA doesn't take small dollar donations. They're funded by big money.
Well, anybody can donate to Turning Point Action and Turning Point USA.
They are funded by big money, predominantly oil and natural gas money.
I mean, sure, they have sponsorships just like any.
They are predominantly funded by oil and natural gas money, and you see it all in the opinions that TPUSA spews. And do you want to know my favorite thing? This is completely off topic, but my favorite thing about TPUSA is the fact that the founder died of COVID, and Charlie Kirk was out here deriding COVID measures. that cracks me the fuck up, dude.
Well, I mean, we can all agree that during COVID, which was a really scary time for the United States, I mean, let alone the world.
Now, you know how dishonest you're being when you're like, we can all agree. It's like a poisoning the well fallacy, right? No, probably whatever the fuck you're getting ready to say, I do not agree with.
Oh, so you wouldn't agree with the fact that these hospitals were declaring deaths as COVID when they were really underlying health conditions because they would get money from the government for every COVID death?
See, this is why I despise right-wing propaganda, because there is a tinge of truth to that. There was money available if people were COVID deaths, and listing a comorbidity, and you take advantage of the stupidity of people that are not media trained like me, and don't actually know what's going on. So listing COVID as a comorbidity is absolutely valid, you know, just because most people don't die of cancer, right? They die of heart failure or organ failure. They get backed up with jaundice or whatever. And then the cancer wasn't actually the cause, but the cancer is what killed them, right? That's what happened with COVID, and you guys are focusing on that technicality, right? You're being dishonest.
Well, it's not focusing on technicality when it's true, because what you've seen...
You're being dishonest. I just explained it.
You can look at this...
I just explained it.
Well, just because you explained it doesn't mean it's true. It's just subjective truth, right?
And objective truth is people died of COVID, even though the main cause might have been organ failure. They still died of COVID. So you're being dishonest in what you're saying.
Well, no, because when you look at the funding
yes,
hospitals received when they declared COVID deaths, we've seen an influx, an increase that these hospitals were receiving from the government.
Okay, and fucking hospitals get money from the government. Like, you're passing that off as that's some nefarious thing.
Well, because if I'm a hospital, because at the end of the day, I'm still a company, right? I'm providing a service.
Not all hospitals are companies, first of all. And you guys, TPUSA supposedly is a fan of the free market and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think free market is a really good thing.
So don't come at me with this, oh, well, if I'm a company, I'm going to try to maximize my profits. Well, duh, that's the shit you advocate for.
And that's what they did, though. They maximized their profits by declaring COVID deaths when it wasn't.
But I mean, what are you trying to say, that like COVID didn't kill over 1 million people in this country?
No, it really didn't.
But it did.
So just because the CDC can put out a number, which, I mean, half the time...
is backed up by statistics. Anyway. Once again, you're taking a technicality. You're saying that hospitals marked it down as COVID when it was like heart failure or lung failure or whatever. But it was caused by COVID. I explained this. Much the way cancer doesn't kill people, it's a contributing factor, and they died of an organ failure. So you're being dishonest.
Well, then I guess we're both right, because technicality is truth.
Yes, but like, you're doing this for a propaganda reason in order to take advantage of people's ignorance. That COVID somehow wasn't this big of a deal, but the founder of TPUSA died of it.
Sure, I mean, but again...
the founder of TPUSA died of it.
Sure.
But hey, it's not that big of a deal, right?
I mean, personally, I don't think so.
The founder of the organization that you represent died of it, my friend. While your organization was out here pushing nonsense propaganda. I find that reprehensible. Now, do you not understand why I would see TPUSA as an evil fucking organization? Because business, and here's the reason why you were pushing that bullshit. The business interests that you guys represent wanted the economy back open. They wanted people to go out here in the meat grinder without proper protections and get back to work, make those dollars.
Well, yeah, I mean, people should be going back to work.
It was a public health emergency. We could have saved lives.
Well, lives were saved.
So you're admitting that without the COVID measures that we did institute, it would have been worse than the more than 1 million that died.
Oh, yeah, I think it would actually be less.
Huh?
Yeah, I think that it would be less. The tough restrictions that certain states proposed or the government proposed was just stupid. It was nonsense.
How so?
Propaganda to
How so?
To impose fear in people, to stay indoors, to
brother here. Hey man. I am tired of right wingers coming like, oh, the virus that actually killed over 1 million people. We're fear mongering somehow, but then all I ever hear from the right is how immigrants are a problem and they're going to come and rape and kill the Riley Gaines, or I mean not Riley Gaines. What was the one woman that got killed by an immigrant? Reagan Riley, that's it.
Yeah,
that's all you guys fucking do is fearmonger constantly. Trans people are invading women's sports. All you fuckers ever do is fearmonger. But when we have an actual national emergency, a real life virus that's killing people, you guys are like, oh, it's not that bad because you're fucking propaganda. You're paid to do that. That's why you're an evil fucking organization.
Well, it's actually not, because what...
It actually is.
Well, what was COVID?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like what symptoms did you get from COVID? What was COVID? What was it similar to in terms of medical terms?
It was a coronavirus that had never existed in humans before. We've had it was like the 5th coronavirus that was ever spawned on us. I'm not a medical person. And it's also been a long time since we've actually talked about COVID because we've all moved on. Right wingers are really focused on it though.
Well, you were the first one.
I was the one that brought it up this time, yes.
But I'm just asking you, what is the COVID similar to?
I don't know what you mean similar to. If you're going to say the flu, it killed like 15 times more people than the flu.
No, I'm just saying it is similar to the flu in terms of...
It killed 15 times more people than the flu.
Well, sure, I can agree with that in terms of the statistics that are provided, but I'm just saying it is similar to the common flu that we all have.
It killed... No, you can't say it's similar to the flu if it killed 15 times more people than the flu killed. It's not, actually. You can't keep asserting things. You can't keep asserting your opinion as fact, especially when your opinion is, like, blatantly wrong.
Well, I mean, according to medical researchers, it is...
It's not. The flu didn't kill 15 times as many people. So you can't say it's like it. You see what I'm saying? That's fucking dumb.
Well, it has all the similarity traits that the flu does.
The flu didn't kill 15 times more people.
But why?
Because COVID is far worse than the flu, you stupid fuck. Like that's...
No, because it's almost like we've had a vaccine for the flu for, decades, really.
Okay, and people still die from the flu. About, 20,000, 30,000 people die every flu season.
But if we didn't have a vaccine, do you think those numbers would be influxed?
Yeah, there would be more people dying of the flu if we didn't have a flu vaccine, yes.
Exactly. So, that's why I really could care less about COVID. They have a vaccine for it now, and it is what it is. They pushed the vaccine very earlier than they did with the flu vaccine.
Okay.
So there was no need for the tough imposed restrictions.
Well, the restrictions happened long before the vaccine, my friend. And all the restrictions had pretty much been lifted by the time the vaccine happened.
Sure.
Okay.
But in terms of time, and the term and how everything was went about. I mean, the flu, before they even had a vaccine for the flu, killed more people.
What?
Yeah, that's true. Before there was a vaccine.
I have no idea the point you're trying to say.
Well, I mean, you're trying to say that the COVID strand, the COVID whatever, killed more people.
It killed over 1 million people.
Yeah, and over time, throughout history, the flu has killed more people.
Over time. COVID killed like 1.5 million people in what, a year and a half? 2 years?
Sure.
My friend, you might want to move on to a different topic.
Well, I don't think that you get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that it was worse because it killed more people faster, but I would argue and say that the flu was worse because we still have a vaccine for it. People still die from it every single year, and more people died from it throughout history before we even had a vaccine, and it wasn't pushed as fast as the COVID vaccine.
What is your fucking point, man? I am... Bro, yeah, bro.
You're trying to say that it was worse, and it's not.
That what was worse?
That COVID was worse than the flu.
COVID is worse. COVID kills 15 times as many people as the flu.
In a short amount of time.
In the time period that we are discussing, as in during COVID.
Sure. But we never had lockdown restrictions for the flu, and it's killed more people.
We actually did. You're wrong on that one.
And when did we have flu restrictions?
During the Spanish flu.
I'm talking about the common flu. Not talking about the Spanish flu. We're talking about the
Well, the common flu is an offshoot of the like, you don't know what you're talking about, my friend. This is what man, this is my problem with right-wingers, is that you guys are really dumb, and I have to spend all my time explaining shit to you guys.
Well,
and how did you... Hey, man, I'm a really good talker, way better than you. I'm way better at making arguments, as you can tell. So, like, how do I get some of that Turning Points money? I'll sell out. You bring me on to Turning Point, I'll turn on a dime. Charlie Kirk is my hero. I'm anti-abortion. I'll cut my hair. Give me some of that tea. I want an actual salary. Can you get me like $100,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to think that when the entire time you interrupt or just continue on nonsense, talking points for 5 minutes.
What talking points did I give you?
Arguments. Like, again, like every time that I try to talk, you've interrupted me. You've continued on tangents for literally no reason.
Did I interrupt you when you said bullshit?
You just interrupted me again. So you know what I'm talking about.
Did I interrupt you when you said bullshit?
When did I say bullshit? I didn't even say that.
You said we didn't have lockdowns for the flu, and I was like, yes, we did. It was during the Spanish flu, and you're like, oh, I meant the common flu. The Spanish flu, like, beget the common flu. That's the ancestor of the common flu. Like, you do not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of different strands of the flu, but in terms of like a generality, I think that we can all come to an agreement of what I was talking about. You were the one that took it out of context to say, oh...
Well, you keep trying to minimize the effects of COVID by comparing it to the flu, and that's a false analogy because you're fucking stupid.
No, what you're trying to do is pivot the argument to a point that makes sense to you to pivot away from the original argument and the claim. That's what you're trying to do, and that's what you've done the entire time.
No, I've proven myself multiple times. What even is your argument?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know my argument because every time that I try to make my point, you've interrupted me.
Well, every time you say something incorrect, I have to correct you.
No, you feel the entitlement and the need to interrupt me because you think that you are correct.
I know that I'm when was I incorrect?
See, there again, I didn't even get to finish what I was saying and you interrupted me again. You don't have patience, right? You say that you're a good public speaker, but you can't even have the patience for 5 minutes to let someone get their point across. And
brother, if you're saying something that is fundamentally untrue, I can't just let you rapid fire things that are untrue. That's called a gish gallop.
Well, you could also...
That is a shotgun fallacy. I have to stop you and correct your point. Do you see what... Like, that's what frustrates me about right-wingers. What you're saying is you want to come in here and you want to throw out a bunch of untruths and flood the zone, and that way I have a hard time correcting you. I don't let right-wingers do that. I stop you, correct you. So if you would like me to let you finish, then don't say something incorrect to make me stop you.
Well, it's not about if you think, right? It's about cold respect, and you're having a debate.
I don't have respect for you. They're like, why would I have respect for you?
That's unfortunate. Well, the thing is, you should, regardless of who somebody votes for, who somebody supports, you should respect somebody regardless of who they support, because it's just how it's called having morals and good ethics.
That's not morals and ethics. Respect is earned. Like if you're coming in here like spouting bullshit that you don't know about, of course I don't respect you.
No, respect, you're born with it. You don't earn it.
No, you're born with respect. This is an abstract concept, and you're trying. See, you keep trying to assert things as a concrete axiom, and it's just not true. You're not born with respect.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why do you respect your mom?
I don't.
You don't respect? Okay. Why do you respect maybe an elder like your grandma or your grandpa?
I don't necessarily respect them.
What about your dad?
Totally don't respect my dad.
So who do you respect in your life right now?
I don't know.
There has to be somebody, right? And I would argue
I'm pretty anti-authority. Like when you're talking about respect, you're trying to like impose a hierarchy on me and like a moral system that I probably don't subscribe to, my friend.
Oh, sure, but I would argue in the sense like for me personally, I
need a precise definition. Define respect.
So for let me finish what I was saying. So for example, my mom didn't earn respect, right? She was immediately given that respect as soon as I was born. She didn't have to earn my respect. She was given it.
You're in a subservient role as a child. You're not respecting. So hold on. First of all, I need a precise definition. I need to know exactly what we're talking about when we say respect.
So, in the perspective of
a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. That's not something that is innate. That is something that is earned, elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements.
Yeah, it wouldn't be earned.
Elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Literally, that means earned.
It doesn't.
I am reading you the definition. Elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements.
Sure, and I could argue each individual point.
My friend, that literally means earned. What I just read to you. And for you to just say, no, it doesn't, is infuriating.
Look up the definition of earned right now, please.
Brother.
Let's do our due diligence too.
Obtained in return for labor or services. Elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. That's exactly what it means.
It doesn't, though.
How does it not? What does elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements mean?
Right, so somebody is really great at something. For example, your mom is great at being a mother, providing and caring for you, etc., etc.
So she had to earn it by being a good mom.
No, so she was given that respect.
No, she had to earn it by being a good mom. You do not understand what you're talking about. Seriously, my friend. I've got to hang up on you now because they have redeemed it. But like, you're dumb. You're really dumb.
You know, what I find quite interesting about the left in particular, and you know...
What I find quite interesting is that I read you a specific definition, and you couldn't fucking agree to it, because it proved you wrong.
You've thrown out a bunch of insults the entire
Because I'm not insulting you. You are dumb.
Calling me stupid, so what is stupid? It's calling someone stupid.
I called you dumb because you are dumb.
Well,
you have proven you are dumb. I read you a definition, and you couldn't agree to it. Because it proved you wrong.
I just proved you wrong by giving you a fundamental base on how that's wrong, and you disagree with it.
You're disagreeing with the basic definition, my friend.
The basic definition...
Elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. That is not innate in someone. That means elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. That means to earn. So you were 100% wrong, and you can't admit it. And that is everything with right wingers. That's why you guys are infuriating. You're fucking stupid, and you're arrogant about your stupidity. And because Turning Points pays you. Because you're paying, there's not anybody out here paying the left. I do this in spite of my career, to be honest with you. I would be way better off in my career if I spewed right-wing fucking nonsense. But I can't because you guys are fucking stupid and evil. And I've got to stand up to you.
The only reason you don't have a platform is because your ideology is so flawed that it doesn't even make sense to have the population.
My ideology isn't flawed. You are just dumb.
Yeah, sure.
I read you a definition, and you couldn't agree that the definition meant what it meant.
Sure, I would agree that there's some instances in there where you could argue that something would be earned.
There's not some instances where you could. Right-wingers always want to play semantic games. You can't just fucking agree. I read you the Merriam-Webster goddamn definition, and you can't accept it as a fact because it proves you wrong. It is a fact. It is a fact.
If both sides are fundamentally correct, then it would.
No, you weren't correct. You were fucking wrong.
No, just because your morals don't align with mine.
No. It's not my morals don't align with yours. I read you a definition, and you couldn't accept that the definition was the definition. That has nothing to do with morals or anything. You just can't accept facts. And it is infuriating.
You can't accept the facts either, and it's infuriating to me.
What facts am I not accepting?
It's just subjective truth.
Did you say subjective truth?
It's subjective truth.
Subjective truth?
Yes.
You're saying subjective because the definition of the word respect is objective. I'm reading it to you right now. A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited, and in this definition, elicited is underlined, elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements, which means earned.
Okay, look up the definition of elicited, please.
Of what?
Of elicited.
My God. Evoke or draw out from someone in reaction to one's own actions or questions.
So you're telling me in that definition that would not in any circumstance mean given at all?
No. Not innately. No. Sorry. You're dumb. That's why I can't fucking stand you people. And I gotta hang up because they redeemed the points. I'd argue with you for hours. Call back in or come back in a couple of days, please. Or get me a job with TP USA, my friend.
Well, you couldn't because you don't know what you're talking about, and that's just really unfortunate.
How do I not know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, explain it.
Like you said, you have to hang up, and I think that's really unfortunate.
How do I not know what I'm talking about? I just explained how you don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain it succinctly how I don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I just had an entire conversation without throwing out a single insult, so I mean,
that doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. That's an appeal to decorum. Once again, you guys love these fucking logical fallacies. Explain how I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I would say you don't know what you're talking about because, I mean, you like to cuss a lot and you also...
That's not explaining how I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I laid it out succinctly. I gave you the example of you not agreeing to the definition of respect. Can you give me an example of how I don't know what I'm talking about?
Well, based on psychologists, I would disagree with you, but, I mean, that's just really unfortunate.
You're disagreeing that I proved you wrong, that you didn't agree to the definition of respect.
Well, because
or earned
something doesn't make it true.
Brother, what? See, this right-wingers always want to play these games. No, the definition of respect that I read you, that is an objective fact.
To who, though?
To everyone, because that is objectively the definition of respect, you dumb fuck. This is why I hate people like you.
That's unfortunate. I don't hate anybody.
Because you're stupid and you're arrogant in your stupidity.
Well, I don't hate somebody who voted for Kamala Harris.
I don't hate you because you voted for Trump, though that is definitely part of it. You voted for Trump because you're fucking stupid. Because, like, you want to live in a fantasy world, and because TPUSA is paying you from the pockets of billionaires to have the stupid fucking opinions you have.
Oh, I mean, like I said, more billionaires support the Democratic Party, but that's just...
I mean... Once again, that's technically the truth, but the Democratic Party wasn't going to come in and have a cabinet full of billionaires the way Trump does. Trump himself, a billionaire. That's what I keep hearing from right-wingers that like, oh, the globalists. I'm like, you elected a dude who has business contracts all over the goddamn globe.
Yeah, we should.
You shouldn't have elected that dude because TPUSA sure did work hard to get him elected.
Yeah, he was obviously the better choice.
How was he the better choice? The corrupt dude with the billionaire cabinet was the better choice.
Well, I mean, the guy that came in and is eradicating wasteful spending in the federalized government.
He hasn't eradicated anything. No. The Doge department actually cost more. His government is on track to spend more. You guys are just idiots that fall for any propaganda, and that's why I hate you. I'm sorry, my friend. You got to come back another time. Get the fuck out of here, you dumbass. This is why I just break down and call right-wingers morons. Seriously, guys, give me a little bit longer when I'm really enjoying myself like that. I really, I can't believe that, I read the definition to him and he's just like, nuh-uh. Fuck, right-wingers are morons. Oh, shit. Let me get you an animal video and get the fuck out of here. I might play some Final Fantasy later. I really want to play Final Fantasy. Yours may have sent me an animal video, actually. Oh, no, that's Ollie Problemos. I love her. Do you believe he's actually from TPUSA? What do you want to debate me about, Igloo? I'm going to clip it and put the TPUSA logo on there, try to get more views out of it. Don't think I won't. I do interrupt people, but I always interrupt them when they're saying something that's wrong. It really annoys me. I'm like, no, we got to correct this right now. Igloo, I was having so much fun. You guys don't know how much I love this shit. Ooh, that's a great idea, Flash. And guess who's back on Twitter now? I'm officially free today. I feel like it is pretty high. Isn't the hang up on caller thing really, really high? I should make it more high. I should get more high. And see, that's another thing is I can always succinctly say what they did and why their argument was wrong. They never can succinctly say why I was wrong. Oh, you called me names. You voted for Trump. That's always my, like, oh, you called me names. I'm going to make an appeal to decorum, even though I voted for Trump, a dude who literally all he did was call people names. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to this corgi. He's so cute. Oh. Why is he so obsessed with branches? I'm totally clipping that for the YouTube, though. That was a good clip. I miss college because you could actually get some semblance of a reasonable argument from somebody who considered themselves a conservative. But I say consider themselves conservative. They end up voting for Trump, but they'll tell you they believe in all the shit you believe in because you're in college. See, Flash, should I do that? I always go with titles that imply I'm on the right. Have I been doing it wrong? I try to get right-wingers to watch my video. If you ever see a thumbnail and you question why I worded something the way I did, that's why. My thought process is like right-wingers get, like, you go to a right-wing page and it's a bunch of leftists arguing about how dumb the right-winger is, and it's boosting the right-winger's content. So I figured I could do the opposite side, but it don't work as well. It doesn't work near as well because I figured it would get into a left winger's algorithm, but no, I just keep getting more and more hate. Never makes it into the lefty algorithm. And my shots at fame have kind of been getting Matt Walsh. The reason Matt Walsh read my shit on his show was because, like, I sent it to him in PMs, like, all over the place.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Like, if I make a video about Matt Walsh, I send it to Matt Walsh on Facebook, on Twitter. I try to get him to notice me. Nathan, you're right. I'm too sleazy for mainstream libs. I am shooting myself in the fucking foot. If I actually want to make some money at this, I should probably clean up my goddamn act. Clean up my fucking mouth. Clean up my goddamn act. Stop talking about, like, having orgies with people. Would you have this orgy couch here on Fox? But I love this. Come on. Good night, Lenny. There's an audience out there, surely. See, I would not want to alienate my core audience, but you guys aren't enough for me to live on. I'm getting ready to raid out and somebody's no profaniting me. I know. It's a horrible. When I was on mushrooms the other night, I told my friend, I was like, I keep doing this, and like, hey, I'm well aware, I'm doing this on the 1% chance, on the 0.5% chance that I may actually be able to make a living at it or something. And I don't care if I die broke and alone, a crazy cat man in a little small apartment. But he was having an existential crisis, so he really didn't get that. I thought I was being profound, it's worth it. It's worth it to chase your dream. Oh yeah, who are we raiding into? 'Cause I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna go eat. I thought about sticking around. But I'm hungry. I thought about Jason, but I made a new friend the other day. I'm gonna send you over my new friend. We're gonna go to Complainy Laney. Yeah, I stopped in and hung out with Jason the other day, getting settled in Las Vegas. So Twitch people, you're gonna go hang out with Complainy Laney. I'm gonna be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, live music. Monday. I don't think I knew Laney before. No. Live music Monday. We're doing the Beach Boys now. I'm running into an issue. I didn't know that it's hard to find Beach Boys performances without Brian or with Brian Wilson. We're kind of wanting to celebrate the genius that is Brian Wilson, but apparently he didn't really tour with the band that much. But tomorrow night it's going to be live music Monday with the Beach Boys directly after the show. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll